G'day everyone, CorruptCarnage here, and today we're going to be doing my real life Minecraft episode 3, cooking, and I'm going to create an absolute beautiful concoction called the Nachos, and I absolutely love nachos. I make nachos probably every fortnight, 2 weeks, and it is delicious. So what ingredients you need for nachos obviously is corn chips. I use mince. A lot of people don't use mince. They just use salsa, but I like to chuck mince on mine as well, which means we have to cook the mince. It's nice looking mince. We need some salsa. So we've got some Doritos mild salsa there. I do like to go a little bit hotter, but for this one I just picked mild. Some olive oil so you can cook the mince. Of course you need cheese, and last of all you need a fry pan, and then I got some herbs and spices as well, which I am going to throw on the mince. But unfortunately, the last thing that I usually put on top is the sour cream, and I don't have any sour cream, so it's going to be a little bit not as good as I usually have it, but nevertheless it's going to taste amazing. So first thing to do is to preheat the pan. That's getting nice and hot there. I just might turn it up a little bit. Turn it up to say 4.5. Then you want to get some olive oil. Nice looking olive oil there. Not to put too much in there because you don't want the mince to be very oily, so I just throw a little bit in there. That's not much at all. I'll just chuck the olive oil back, and then I'll get my little spatula and just make sure the oil's covered in the pan nicely. You feel the warmth like that. It's actually a cold day here, and yes, so you want to chuck the mince obviously into the pan, quickly throw that in the bin, come back, and you want to obviously mix this up while it's cooking. It might be a little bit too hot. I'm going to turn that down a bit. Yeah, it's a little bit too hot. This is not my usual frying pan, so you want to munch the mince up, make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. That's what the oil is supposed to do, but very loud. Hopefully you can hear me over the ceiling, sizzling of the mince. So just mash that up nicely. Mash it up nicely. There we go. We're getting there good. I can say still for a little bit. Now you want to add a bit of, I like to use garlic granules. Just add a bit of flavour. You don't want to chuck too many on there. And then, of course, the trusty old pepper. And then also a bit of sea salt, just to add a bit of texture, a bit of flavour to the boring old mince. And just mix that around, let that cook. Worst thing about fry pans is they go hot and then they go cold, and then they go hot and then they go cold. That's why I love gas. But I haven't got that luxury out here. So, turn that up a little bit. Now I'll come back when the mince is cooked. See you soon. Welcome back. That mince is cooked absolutely to perfection. You don't want it to go too burnt, because then you'll get it. You don't want it too burnt, otherwise it goes very dry. Now what I quickly do is I want to throw it on the, just want to throw on the stove. Sorry, the grill. So I can grill. Yeah, that's good. That should heat up while I'm preparing the nachos, because you want to crispy the cheese on top of the nachos. So now that's pretty much done. The next thing to do is you can while I'm here, you can also throw in onion into the mix if you like, which adds a little bit more flavour to it, and also makes it taste amazing. So if you want to complex, I guess, the recipe a little bit, you can chuck in some onion, some diced onion into there, and that'll be great. Bon appetit. So the next thing you want to do is grab the nachos, grab the Doritos, you kind of throw them into your pan, like so, mush them around like that, make sure they're nice and even, and that's that, they're nice and even, it's just sweet. The next thing you want to do is get the salsa. Now this is the most important bit. You don't want to go too thick, you want to cover the salsa, you want to cover the nachos nice and evenly. Wish I had a bigger spoon. I'm using a teaspoon at the moment. It's taking forever. Might as well just pick up a jar. I'll give you the hot tip. So just quickly chuck on the salsa. You can use it all. Doesn't matter. The more the merrier, but you don't want it too strong. Generally, I like putting the nachos in the oven, but if you put too much salsa, they go all soggy. So you have to kind of. That's why I've tended to go towards the mince and the grill. So it's still warm on the inside. So just chuck that on there. That's sweet. All right, the salsa's on. The next thing to do is I'll just move this over here closer. It's hard to do this in one hand, with one hand. I'll just turn the fry pan off. Alright, cool. So now you just want to get the mince, and then obviously sprinkle it over the top of the nachos. And this will also heat up the salsa as well, so you don't really need to put it in the oven. Which is another good thing. I've got a lot of mince here. Maybe I shouldn't use so much mince. I used about 300 grams, 400 grams of mince. But mince is awesome, so the more the merrier with that as well. So I might as well use all this mince in here. Got a little bit left. Get the last scoop out of there, and I'll just chuck it on top. And then while I'm here, I may as well take this back over to the middle here. I can feel the heat coming out of that grill, which is awesome. So I might as well use some more salsa and just chuck it over the top. You know, you can never have too much salsa. Well, you can have too much salsa because it gets very tomatoey, but overall, it's good to have a little bit more than not enough. There's always a good saying. All right, cool. So that all the salsa is out of that jar, and basically the last thing to do is to get Mr. Cheese over here and smash her on top. There you go. Smash the cheese on top, and then just layer it out nicely. And then you could pop that in the grill for about 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll come back, and it should be absolutely perfection. And this is going to be CorruptCarnage's nachos. Then also, below the cheese, you'd also put a bit of sour cream, but I'll come back with the finished result, chucking that in the grill for about 2 to 3 minutes. See you in a sec. Welcome back, everyone. And this is the finished product. How sexual does that look? I'm just going to taste one. I have to taste one. Look at that. Nachos to die for. Here we go. That is sublime nachos. That is awesome. Probably the best one I've ever had. Probably the best one I've ever made. Same thing. It would be so much better with sour cream, but I don't have that luxury. I don't have any sour cream in the fridge, which is a little bit of a bummer. But anyway, guys, this has been CorruptCarnage's Nachos. Hope you enjoyed. And can you please like and favourite this video? And if you're the first person, if this is the first video you've seen on my channel, please click that subscribe button, and you can get many more real-life Minecraft cooking episodes, and also you can go back and see the episodes 1 and 2, which I've already made. So anyway, guys, I'm CorruptCarnage, and I hope you enjoyed these nachos, and I'm going to dig into them right now. I wish you could join me. But yes, you can't, so it's no good. I wish you can throw nachos through a LAN port and out of your computer monitor or your CD drive, and you can have a taste, but sorry, you can't have a taste. So anyway, guys, I'm CorruptCarnage, and I'll see you in episode 4 of my real-life Minecraft cooking. See yous later. Bye-bye.